Are we ready to go? Yes. I gotta get my camera people. Oh, Mark's gonna go first, yeah. I think it's going, okay. Good? You're good. You want to talk to my mic?
Oh, you have an official mic. Hello, hello, hello! Hello! Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. So, for those who don't know, I like to have all sorts of new kind of crazy programs. So, a month and a half ago, I said, well, I really want to have something where residents of Foxborough can come out and talk about something that they're passionate about. And then I immediately thought, who can I get to make sure a lot of people are here for the first one? And this guy came to mind. So now you're going to hear from Lieutenant Joseph Sanders.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel. Leadership, right? Official.
I was a lieutenant, but
Joseph Sanders on leadership. So I hope you really enjoy it. We're going to do this again every single month. And Jerry Love is actually presenting in February 27th at 3:45. So if you haven't already signed up for that, make sure you do. And from that, I'll let Joe take it away.
Thank you, Mark. And thanks for the promotion. All right. Well, first of all, it's great to be here. And when he offered me the opportunity to take up to an hour to talk about leadership, when I'm used to Jared Craig, the other guy with the last name, or first name it's the last name, who only gave me 7 minutes, at the Foxtail, I said, I'm in. So, okay. So we'll probably push that hour. But I hope that you'll enjoy it. I have spent, I'll just say this, many more hours on this presentation than I have any other presentation in my whole life. And this is really important to me because I'll be talking about this later, but this was the anniversary of the worst day of my life a long time ago, and you'll hear about it. So I picked this day out for that reason. I wanted to make this a good day. And I've put the time in, and I hope that you enjoy it. So I got to go fast. I got 271 slides. And they're all good. They're not all words like this one. But this is a good one to see, right? Just to set people straight. And I got to stand here and do this number. I'm not, this is the way it is. So this is a theme that I was asked on the Around Foxborough at the last question that I was asked. And I thought, I'm going to put it up front. The best way to lift up oneself is to help someone else. And that is the core of leadership. You're going to hear this throughout my talk today. Helping others, taking care of others, is what leadership is all about. And I'm going to talk about a lot of people in this. I'll talk about me too, because, I'm so shy. But anyway. Oh, wait, what's that doing there? All right, I happen to come from Michigan. But seriously now, back to serious stuff. I love this picture. It's the Army-Navy. It says, the only game this weekend where everyone playing is willing to die for everyone watching. And you know what? That's true. Matter of fact, at 12, what's that great? That's the 12th man, okay? That's the whole Corps of Cadets. We all felt like we were part of the team. There's 11 people on a football team. We were all the 12th man. So on this day, guess what? I was on the goal line, blocking Navy on the last play of the game. We won't dwell on that too much, I promise, okay? But I got to show you this one, because we had snow recently. This is several Army-Navy games ago. You can't see the Army team. They're wearing white. It says we finally got camouflage right. I mean, you can see a couple arms, but that's it. I mean, and we did beat Navy that year as well. Okay, let's keep going. All right, this is the talk. Now, I put a controversial topic out here. I wanted to see who I could sucker to get in and come here and yell at me, okay? And I said the golden rule is broken. Now, who would ever say that? What fool? This fool, okay? That's why I played my way before you all came in, okay? By the way, I have about 30 or so life stories, some of which I'll be telling here, but they're all on this site, and you'll get this in writing. I'm going to pass out little cards before the end, and you'll have this site on the card if you want to go look any of these things up to verify if they're true. Anyway, so we will be conducting this in our inside classroom voice. Level 3, I'm a substitute teacher, and there it is. It's not funny, okay? All right, so moving on. That's my place. I had to take a picture. Man, I'm so happy. I finally got a tree. I got Michigan stuff underneath there, all happy. And that's where I put the last 12 hours together when we had that snowstorm. I was going to go to my daughter or stepdaughter. Let's get out of that one. Granddaughter and grandson's first swimming lesson up in Waltham. I was going to be in the pool with them on Sunday. I was so excited. But they called it off. So you know what? It gave me some time. So I did some more work on this. This is my grandparents' house in Michigan, okay? So I'm used to snow. You can't scare me with snow. I mean, that's just the way it is, all right? Oh, that's that one again. All right. Oh, there's another. Well, I'm a Lions fan. Okay, give me some slack, all right? Now, all right. I
You
see.
ever win a Super Bowl?
They haven't been. Whoops, whoa, what happened? I put this thing on fast forward. So, wait a minute. Back up, Joe. Back up. What the hell? There, okay. Yeah, Hitsville, if you ever go to Detroit, take the Motown tour. 1 hour. I didn't do it till after I was 60 years old. 1 hour, and when you come out of there, you got 30 people you don't know. When you come out, everybody's exchanging addresses, taking pictures. It's uplifting, just like Motown, the intention was. It's fantastic. I'm so glad I went. Now, the bottom problem is, though, you know, the Supremes, I love the Supremes, but you can't hurry love. That's kind of my game this day. You know, I moved here, got divorced earlier, you know, well, I was separated a couple years, got divorced, got here, and let's just say you can't hurry love, because, well, I'm just still looking. All right, so I got to be interviewed on around Foxborough. I love this picture, so you're going to see a lot of that, unfortunately. And but that was kind of fun. Now I'm going to put one thing to bed right now. This is the, you know, the thing that they have at the cable company telling you about what, you know, the talk. But up at top, this is actually a Facebook thing. You see the Foxborough discussion that says Charmana Colonel Sanders. Let me explain. So to get that out of the way, so people say, what in the heck does that mean? So I'm going to tell you what it means. What is a Charmana Colonel? Well, back in the day, guess who that is? You're going to see a lot of me. Back in the day, I liked to play the organ. My grandmother had an organ. But you know what? When you get married and you got chores around the house, you sit down and start playing an organ or a piano, your wife soon catches on and finds work for you. So I guess that's no good. So I'm going to switch to a harmonica. That's me as the market manager of the farmers market in Lansdowne, Pennsylvania for a couple of years. And we'd have musician of the week every time. And I'd put the signs out as so I figured while I got this opportunity, I'll take a picture of myself playing a harmonica. So here's where it comes from. I self-nominated myself as the charming harmonica colonel. And if you look at the yellow, you got Charmana Colonel. Now, honestly, I had a Facebook page just for playing my music when I was starting to do this, because I had a regular page, and when I got divorced, I got, no pun intended with pages here, but I got rid of that Facebook page, and this is the only one I have now. So when you see postings on the discussion page or on the Uptown page, and this Charmana Colonel, that is c'est moi, okay? Now this trophy, why am I saying this? Oh yeah, that's the harmonica, you know, charming, and the harmonica is stuck there next to my trophy, which is right here for, you can actually touch it if you want later. So let's talk about the golden rule, okay? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now that seems like and it's a great thing. I mean, let's face it, you know, be nice. It's not.
It should be unto, not onto.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. You know, Gene, leave it to you to bring me down. You know what? You want this book back? Here. You want this book? You want this? Here, you want to keep that book? And you want to take your tie back too? Gene gave me this tie, and this is, well, that's another story. It's coming up. What'd I say? Unto, U-N-T-O, right? I'm not fixing it now. I don't have time. You know, next time. It's already going to be all over the world. All right, so that's that one. But I found a better rule, in my opinion, and you'll know why. I'm going to go through a case study here. The platinum rule, okay? Find out how others want to be treated, and then treat them that way. That's interesting. So, let's talk a little bit about the two of them. The golden rule assumes that all the people want to be treated the same. Okay, that makes sense. You want to be nice. The platinum, I have, by the way, the is capitalized, like super capitalized. We're going to get into that a little later about the Taylor, the Ahern, whatever. So the Ahern. Okay. Platinum rule requires learning about the wishes of your customers. And a customer means everybody but yourself. Here's this theme again. It's not about me. Your customers could be your spouse. It could be your better half. It could be someone you hate. Bottom line is, it's not you. The assumption here is you care about people, okay? Now, leaders care about the people reporting to them. I said that more than once already. You're going to hear that a lot. So we got a case study here, real case studies. The top one is me, when I got that little trophy there, okay? Airborne, what do you call it, honor graduate, and I'm going to be rewarded, right? Because I was a top graduate out of 500 and some. Now, I got Private Hernandez. When I got promoted to a captain, and I was the commander of that unit, and I got Private Hernandez that was the Soldier of the Month. Now, we have a ceremony for that every month. We bring the soldiers out in front of the unit. We give them a certificate. We read the citation. And, you know, most people like it. But Private Hernandez was very shy. I mean, there aren't many soldiers that are very shy, but this one was, and he did his job. So the question is, let's keep moving here. Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about the two personalities. This is where I have fun. Okay, back up, Joe. So, whoa. Okay, so I won this, and let's talk about what made me. Well, this is when I was a kid, man. I love life. That's me laughing. That could be me today. Update. Whoa. That gives me a chance to get some Wawa. Anybody know Wawas? You ever been to Wawas in Pennsylvania? Yes. Man, I got a story about that, but not today. At least not here today. Thank you, Mark. Craig with the first name is last. All right. I'll be pushing. Where'd he go? It's gonna flip forward 3 times. Another chug of water. All right. The empty chair. That's another story, right? Missing an act. Now, I was a hot dog in high school. Look at those pants, man. I thought it was God's gift to everybody, right? I was mayor. I applied. Everybody. This is not a secret now, but I applied for the town manager job. I said, I was a freaking mayor. You tell me I can't be town manager? I was mayor of the town of Southfield, Michigan, who won the state championship this year too, just like we did here. Anyway, one day of this, I was elected mayor. Homecoming, most valuable player. I mean, look at the guy. So do you think he would not want to be called out in front of people? This is me as a cadet. I had the best girlfriend. Look at that. So that's the wrong thing. Oh yeah, the next one. So here's a thing I kind of threw in the last day. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Now I'm going to make this one a fast one. I don't want anybody looking at it too closely. My 50th high school reunion was about 5 months ago. Whoops. Oh, that's going way too fast. Well, man, oh me, this has got. Okay, no, that's not right. Sorry about that, folks. Oh yeah, this is right. No, I missed a few slides. Hold on. Well, yeah, there it is at my reunion. Having fun with some girls. I knew we were not boyfriend, girlfriend, but they had fun. Now, so that was that. Now this is Private Hernandez, the other person in the case study, the one I was going to present the award to. So here's the question for everybody in the room. See if we have some consensus. How should former cadet and now Captain Sanders, back in the day, reward Private Hernandez for being awarded Soldier of the Month? And you only have 2 options. That's the way we do it in the Army. 1, in front of the entire 100-soldier company formation, or at a private session in the commander's office. What do you, remember the platinum rule, find out how they wanted to be treated. This is a shy guy. You want him out in front of that formation? Yeah, you're right. Guess what I did? I brought him in my office, shook his hand. He almost cried. He was so happy he didn't have to stand out in front of everybody because they heckle him and all after they get back. So anyway, so that's right. So did I make the point? Okay, it's not, the golden rule isn't broken, but it doesn't get to the core of treating people the way they want to. And that requires leadership, which requires asking questions. Oh, here we go again. All right, maybe it's me. All right, so now we're gonna drop that topic. Okay, forget the golden rule. The reason to get you in here is now over. Okay, we're going to talk about leadership, and I want to talk about heroes. Foxtail and Jared's not here, is he? Okay, I already cut him down. But only give me 7 minutes before. But anyway, so I already did the whole last name first name thing. So anyway, heroes are very important in people's lives. If they become leaders, there's probably at least one hero, and I want to talk about mine quickly. Mom and Dad. Great, great leaders in my life. And I want to talk to you about why they were great. There's my mom, the adorable baby. Look, is this guy going to West Point or what? Give him a pair of binos, he could be Patton, right? Look at that, look at that. Got the stance going. God, I love myself. Okay. There's me and my dog. That's Nanny. With that, oh yeah, I told you I'm already happy. Now there's Mom, my birthday party. So, Mark Craig, this is where you catch some stuff. There's a saying. I like to put sayings in here once in a while. I get sayings every day, and I send them to people that I care about sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. True, right? It always seems impossible until it's done. True? Okay. Nelson Mandela. There's me getting running. Okay? I'm stepping out. I'm just not standing. I'm not moving. I'm not stopping. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't try to lessen yourself for the world. Let the world catch up to you. Another leadership thing. And here I am. That's me, number 66, at Tiger Stadium, halftime of the Lions-Packers game, and I'm stepping out, and that ball carrier cannot catch up to me. I'm stepping out and let the world catch up to me. That's my little example. All right. Kind of fun, though, right? You imagine the time I put finding this stuff? Anyway, well, come on, Joe, get back. All right. Leadership. Did I give a tidbit number 1 already? There it is. Okay. This is going to be another theme for the whole day, and I'm going to end the talk with it with some very practical discussions about where we are in Foxborough right now. Some people make things happen, some people watch things happen, and others do nothing and wonder, what happened? Okay? So we're going to talk about that. And my mom was instrumental in moving me out of that bottom tier. So there she is, beautiful lady. So she was my den mother in Cub Scouts. That's a happy kid, right? The kid's always smiling. Well, wait. So this is where I learned the first lesson of accountability. I was 8 years old, and we had a project for every kid in the den. We had like 8 to 10 kids. We had a project to build something. Piece of cake, right? So, yeah, I blew it off. I didn't do it. My dad, he's feeling sorry for me. He goes ahead and builds a doggone birdhouse. And he paints it, and now it's time for the den meeting, and I'm down there in the basement with the birdhouse sitting in front of me, and because my mom knows the truth, and she says to me, so, and she's like really jovial, she goes, so Joe, tell us about how you built your birdhouse. And I sat there, and I don't know how long it was, probably 3 years. I said, I didn't do anything, my dad did the whole thing. And I was sweating. And she waited and let me sweat. She didn't turn it to the next person for 3 years. I mean, it was a long time. So then everybody else did their thing, and everybody else, they had permission now to say this, they got help. But when my mom went upstairs to get something, they all came, how'd you do that? I said, you crazy, you don't know my mom. They didn't call her Boots for nothing. So anyway, so that was, now, leadership tidbit number 2. This is part of the cadet prayer. Make us choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong, and never be content with the half-truth when the whole can be won. I learned that day, too. I says, no way in this God's green earth, and I'm not going to tell the truth now. She's got me. It wasn't like I was motivated to do it. I had to, but I still learned it. And so I went from this to that. Sober Joe. Yeah, I learned a little bit, so that was after that. Anyway, now here's another one. This is true. Now, if you saw the around Foxborough interview, this is from that story, so it's not that long, but it's just as real. When I was in high school, I mean, I got admitted to West Point like February, March of my senior year, and I made a decision I was going to have fun till I went to West Point, because you had to go in June, right? So I went to hockey games and concerts. Detroit Red Wings fan, blue and blue, So I told my mom one day, it was like Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday night, I think. And Led Zeppelin was playing downtown Detroit, and I had 3 articles. I wrote for the local town paper. I covered sports for the high schools. So I had 3 articles I hadn't written yet. So I said, Mom, I want to go to the concert tonight, and I'm going to come back and do my articles. She goes, yeah, but you're going to school tomorrow. So, I didn't care. I'm out of here. So I go to the concert, come back, and they started with the Immigrant Song, and there was no opening act. It was so cool. But anyway, I'm not going to sing like I did on TV. I don't have a voice now. So I went, came home around midnight, did the 3 articles. You typed them. You didn't. I drove them over in the envelope, put them in the Southfield eccentric box. Came home, 6 o'clock in the morning. Finally, go to bed. Get up. You're going to school. I went to school. So she taught me about accountability, but you know what? I did it my way. I'm glad I did too. I got an award for writing for Detroit News. I wrote an article on Gordie Howe. That was so cool, and they gave me an award. There she was, though. She got a smile, but don't cross her. She had a heart, though. This is my first day at West Point. I'm not exactly excited because I know I'm heading to hell. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, it felt like it. And she's crying because her baby's leaving, all right? Now my dad. Now, does he look like he's overbearing? No. He was the best gentleman I've ever met in my life. He didn't say much, but when he did, it stuck. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. There he is up there, my plebe year at West Point, giving me some advice. I used to get so mad at him. He'd say, son, did you make progress today? And I'd say, huh, if make progress means one day closer to getting the hell out of this place, yeah. I mean, sarcastic, because, you know. Anyway, they're my grandparents, too. My dad's father on the left and his stepmom. Great times with them in the summer. We go out to Canada fishing. Whoa, 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 on the roll again. Whoa, doggone it. Anyway, it's all fishing pictures, but up in Canada. And then one of the biggest heroes of my life that wasn't family was this guy, Mike Halstead. He was my basketball coach in middle school. He was the toughest coach I ever had, tougher than any place else in the whole world. And he taught us discipline. And he had another tidbit for us, what I call Coach Halstead's basketball Bible. God is first, the other guy is second, I'm third. What's the theme here? The leader is last. On a team, you're last. You take care of everybody else, okay? And you're going to find later on, when I talk about the Medal of Honor winners that I got to listen to the day before Army-Navy, what they say about it. So hold on. Do not walk out. There's our team. Very few players, okay? Very few. Now, his son came up. They would come up to West Point, see me. That's his son wearing my tar bucket. I was a senior then. That's him and his wife and the same son. She passed away this year, Edie. What a great couple they were. Whoop, back. Sorry about that. And that's, sorry about this. So I went to visit him this summer, right before his wife passed. It was great because I got to see her too. And she actually remembered me. She had Alzheimer's. But it was very, he said, Joe, he goes, the fact that she remembered, I'm shocked, you know. So that felt good. Anyway, she did pass. And he lives in Virginia, and next year's Army-Navy game is in D.C., so I invited him on Christmas. I called him Christmas Day. I knew it was going to be a rough day for him. And I called him and said, hey, what do you say I treat you and your son and your grandson to the Army-Navy game this year? And he goes, you know, because he had a lot going on. And I said, it's a long way off, but put it in your, you know, it's a solid invite. And he was very, very thankful for that. And tell you what, I'm thankful that he's alive and I can talk to him. My first father, he's 93 years old now. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. But he told me when he was younger, he said, son, always be the one they're asking for. He worked at the phone company, and he said, you know, you want to protect your job, just be the one they're asking for. I said, okay. And I pretty much found that to be true. I mean, Mark couldn't find a talker, so he called me. Just made that up. He didn't hear that. Okay. All right. Now, this is on the left-hand side is my father-in-law, and then there's me. And the guy on the right is Mike McKay, West Point, class of '66, the best servant leader I've ever served under. This guy, matter of fact, I was working at Bell Atlantic, and he calls me out of the blue one day from Rutgers. We worked at Rutgers in the ROTC program. Later, he went there as their CIO. He calls me out of the blue one day and says, hey, you want to come to Rutgers? I said, who would I work for? You? I said, yeah. Didn't have to ask anything else. I mean, that's how great of a leader he is. But anyway, that's not for now. Now here's my son, Ian, in the middle, and we got Navy and Army there, and so he's looking, obviously, which way is he looking at? Army, right? Can you see him looking at me? God, I love that kid. Now, but there's no doubt why. Whoever played Navy as a kid? Nobody. It's always Army, right? So that's why my son was, you know, there he is there with his Army outfit on. What a cutie, huh? All right. If I get through this, it'll be great. I'm going to read it to you. This is my poem about Down syndrome, and it has led me my whole life, okay? And I just realized that recently. So I'm going to read it to you. It's pretty quick. He thinks no evil, does no harm. His disposition is always calm. So full of love and kindness too, he only sees the good in you. Anger, lust, they're not real. Such negative impulses he doesn't feel. He is innocent, this is true, of hate and fear and things we do. Such perfect trust, so hard to find, exemplifies his peace of mind. With eyes upturned and heart sincere, his thoughts may seem quite far from here. A deeper knowledge, yet not expressed, perhaps he's wiser than the rest. He's sweet and gentle, meek and mild, he's our beautiful Down syndrome child. I mean, that poem, I've had this poem for ages, and I can barely get through it each time I read it. Oh, my Uncle Norm lost his leg in the Normandy invasion in France, survived it, sense of humor, I got a lot of my sense of humor from this guy. Unbelievable. Matter of fact, no, I'm not telling that here. Okay. I'm going to go somewhere after this, and I'll tell anybody anytime. Anyway, so I was going to come home and quote unquote watch him. His daughter stayed with him, and she says, Joe, I want to go. Joey, she called me. Joey, I want to go away for a week in June. I just don't know what to do. I said, well, I'll come out and stay with your dad. I would love it. So I looked up, and there's only one game at Tiger Stadium. It was the same week as the All-Star game, and so I called the Tigers, got a hold of their veterans, support group and all this stuff, and I told them about my uncle, did an interview with them, sent it to them and all this stuff, and then what they recommend, because they do a lot of things, days that are scheduled, so they really couldn't give me, time for him to throw the ball, thank God. But they said you can do a scoreboard announcement. So this was the scoreboard announcement that I put together. Wave to Uncle Norm, Purple Heart Hero, Normandy Invasion seated in section 133. I got the tickets already. Celebrating 98 years, thanks Uncle Norm for U.S. Army PFC Davies for your heroism. Now, he wasn't probably, he says, he was PFC. He probably didn't get promoted. He goofed around, kind of like I did. And he said, I'm not a hero. I don't want to, I'm not so sure about this. I said, Private, this is Colonel Sanders talking. You will wave. When those people who think you're a hero, you're not going to let them down. You're going to wave back as, all right. And he pulls a sarcastic, yes, sir. He pulls a ugly looking salute. Well, okay. So, but then about a month later, this is like March, April, my cousin calls me and says, Dad's not really doing that well. You might want to just come out, because I don't know if he's going to make it till July, or it was July actually. I said, all right. So I go out, and you can't make these stories up. This guy sitting there was in the same nursing home. Well, actually, this guy's wife was in there, but he was visiting his wife for lunch one day. And my uncle was there, and I'm going to have lunch with him, and there's no place to sit. This guy waves his hand as I'm pushing my uncle out. He waves his hand and kind of goes like this. I don't know who he is. He's a Frenchman that was in Normandy during the Normandy attack, and my uncle was there the same time. They didn't even know each other. So he said, Norm, and I was just there for one day. Okay, I was leaving. He says, Norm, if you need a place to sit at lunch, you come sit with us. So don't think that didn't get to me. This is him. He was always a joker. He's just waving. Kind of a wave salute kind of thing, and this is still tough. He didn't make it to the game. He passed away. So I got the Tigers to change the sign, and this is the actual sign that was posted. Tiger fans, let's give a standing ovation in memory of PFC Norm Davies, recently departed World War II, Battle of Normandy, Purple Heart Hero. It's good for my uncle. God bless him. I miss him to this day. So let's think about this. Not everyone is given the chance to grow old, so appreciate every single day of your life. Now look at Willie Nelson. You got to like this. You ever seen this before? He goes, I think youngsters need to start thinking about what kind of world they're going to leave for me and Keith Richards. You can't do a tearjerker and not go into something funny, right? So anyway, all right, this one I like. Tidbit number 7. You got to believe. I made that one up. Ted Lasso. Anybody seen Ted Lasso? A lot of people. Good. I like you. I like you. I like you. Okay. All right. So you got to believe, right? Boom. I'm handing these cards. No, get back there, boy. I'm handing these cards out later, so you'll all get one, all right, with information on the back, which might be important in the near future. I have to throw this in there. I'm a Lions fan, but I found this slide. So yeah. Dad, what's a Super Bowl? I don't know, son. We're Lions. Yeah, keep laughing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's me and my lion growl. But now, wait. This is here for a reason. Okay. Anybody know who that is? Roy Williams, former coach for North Carolina basketball. I've had more than one, matter of fact, more than a handful of people, not with my current hair, but mistake me for Roy Williams. Okay? I mean, when I was, whatever. So this, we got a little story here about, you got to believe, the old man at ShopRite who met the coach. So here I am at ShopRite back in Pennsylvania. I'm walking around doing my thing, and this guy comes in and he goes, Coach. And I thought, I can't let this guy down. I coached t-ball for my daughters. I know what he was thinking, but, you know, a little stretch. It was more important I'm taking care of this soldier of mine now, right? And he says, Coach. I said, yeah. I walked up, grabbed a pen from the lady there. I said, I write Joe Sanders real scribbly, and I hand it to him, right? Oh, thanks, Coach. So I said, let's keep it on the down low. We're passing each other. But, you know, so he leaves the store, but I'll say this. I guarantee, not that I can, but I'm sure if he had participated in any event that day, he would have done better because he felt he met the coach. Okay, and that's another little thing here. You got to believe. Why do bad teams beat good teams? Why did Army beat Air Force this year? They were 8-0. We were supposed to get our ends kicked. We turned it on them because we lost to UMass the week before. I was there too. So they were fired up, but it's all right here, okay? Your mind is what dictates things. All right, let's keep going. Oh, finally, okay. Okay, not millions. People ask me, like, Joe, what made you move from Maryland to Foxborough? I told you I had trouble finding girls, but that's my girl. That's my granddaughter. And I got 3 beautiful daughters. This is Christmas Day this year. Don't think I don't have a reason to be back here. That's not quite enough, but still, for now, okay? That's my daughter's wedding, my 3 daughters again. And there's my son-in-law, okay, right above me there. This is an official picture from somewhere. Somebody sent it to me. I said, well, that's cool. I mean, anyway, so when I knew I was going to be coming to where my grandchildren lived, but I didn't know where, okay? And he knew I was a Lyft driver, so he says, and I was going to do that all summer until I, started substitute teaching. He says, yeah, look at Foxborough. It's a nice little town. You got a big stadium there. I said, okay. So I went to the lodge, fell in love with it. They had a room, available when I needed it. So within like the first hour of visiting places, I found a home. So I'm so glad because I love it here. There it is. There's the Lyft thing. Now I got a little. My former stepdaughter, when I did Lyft for years. So this is in Philadelphia. She says to me, she knows I talk, and she says, Joe, not everybody likes to talk. Certainly not everybody likes to hear you talk. That's worth some water. Yeah, guess what? Less than a year later, she's getting engaged, or she got engaged. Guess who she asked to officiate her wedding? The man that nobody wants to hear talk. I said, you want to put a microphone in my hand at your wedding? Go ahead. But I was very honored to do it. And I worked on that as hard as I could, and it was a very good wedding. I really enjoyed it. Now maybe I do put people to sleep. That's my grandfather, my father, and my oldest daughter. That's nothing to do with my Lyft talking. There's the bad one. That's my Lyft jacket. I got that for over 1,000 rides of 5.0 ratings in Philadelphia. That's not easy to do, okay? I just like that badass look. Okay, whatever. Now this is a recent one when I was here in Massachusetts. Good customer service, amazing driver. If I'd had the money, I would have tipped. Gave me an amazing lecture. I'm not sure if this is good or bad, but I figured you'd laugh, so I figured it's worth putting on here. Now, I told you I didn't feel grounded. Well, I didn't say that, but I didn't feel grounded when I was just driving for Lyft. I said, you know what? I'm a guy that gets called. I said, I'm living in Foxborough. I know it's a nice place. I'm just getting over divorce. The furniture is in and all this stuff. And I said, I just got to go out once, So I went to the Jake and Joe's, and I met Renee Tachi with her other half, And we're talking, I've had a beer or two, and, me, I don't keep quiet. And so she says, Joe, did you ever referee? I said, I've done everything. Yeah, I've refereed. I've umpired professionally. Yeah, I've done it all. She goes, well, and she knew I was single. She goes, I have a women's kickball league. We have 53 women in it. And she goes, do you think you'd like to umpire that? I said, does it pay over $100 an hour? I know my rate. She goes, no, it might pay $100 for the season. I said, good enough. So I umpired. I still haven't put the voucher in yet. I'm too embarrassed. Anyway, I started kickball. There it is. That was fun. There's me and whatever. All right. Now, this story. So I started to get involved, okay? I started to get involved with things. And Paige, who's sitting in the back, she was in this building, or this room probably, they have a monthly town manager briefing for the seniors, I guess. And she was here, and it was a beautiful summer day, and I was sitting kind of in the back, and I was going to go over to the lighthouse because they had the free tours for citizens. And I thought, I'm a Lyft driver. I got an empty car. I'm sitting with all these old ladies. I said, there's no future here, but, you know, I'm going to do what I do best. I'm just going to serve others. I was, would anybody like to go? So we go. Well, no good deed goes unpunished. Guess who one of those women were in that car? Jean Bonneau. And while on the way back, I was now a member of the Senior Serenaders. Okay, and I'm glad I did because she gave me this tie. Okay, what else did you give me this? I don't know, something else here. Anyway, so.
I gave you a music tie too.
Oh yeah, you got the music tie. Come on, you want to come? No, it's free. All right, so that was the newspaper. That's me in the back where I belong, singing at the. Now this event, by the way, has another meeting coming up at the end. Okay, so that was the Veterans Day. Yeah. All right. Finally, I get an interview to be a substitute teacher. All right, Mike Stanton represented the HR department because they shift the burden when people interview, and he says, Joe, just where do you want to teach? And I said, Mike, you put me where nobody else wants to go. And I told him after that, I said, I had 23 years in the Marine. If I can't do it, our whole country's in trouble. Okay? So what does he do? Well, he didn't do this. This is just for fun. You see that? High school teachers, elementary, and middle school teachers. It's kind of true. Yeah, you got to be a warrior to be a middle school teacher. Anyway. But I got involved over at the Orpheum. I volunteer there a lot. I love it. I love it there. And that's how I found out about the foxtails. Anyway, I love the fact that we help each other out and, you know, celebrate. I love the fox out there. I'd take it home if I could. I love that one.
It's going to be up for auction.
I know that because I go to every cultural committee meeting. I know what's happening. But be honest with you, at the Orpheum, I met Bob Siteman. And he was related to Jack, and I was always wondering, why are these flags at half mast? I didn't know. So his funeral. So I went to his funeral, and you know what? When I saw all the family around him at the slides, and I looked back at my life, I said, you got a ways to go, buddy. And I thought, I love this place. I love this man. I didn't even know him. And I thought, I love it here. And it was getting better and better every day. Whoops. This thing off the ropes again. All right, another one of the sayings. The task of a modern educator is not to cut down jungles, but to irrigate deserts, okay? It's a different world these days. This is over at the Taylor School. I saw this the other day, I took a picture. I said, this is great, this is leadership. You know, kids, I mean, it's just positive. Everything's positive, I love it. Oh, come on, get back. This is what I got from Maryland. I framed this at home. One kid, I don't know why she was not doing her work, but she drew this during class one day and gave it to me. I mean, is that cool or what? And I got little stickers up here from other people before I left Maryland. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Now this is one from here in Foxborough. I love this one because I told the kids, move out, you know, in class. I said, Mr. Thank you for subbing. You are the best sub ever. You are so cool. Move out. She yells, move. That's what the underlines are. Move out. You know, if you don't love this, man, you got a problem. All right. Another saying. Ultimately, a genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. Now, there's a reason I have that right before here. So I'm wearing my little army thing. I'm standing in front of the flag for a purpose. This was my first lesson when I was a sub in Maryland. I didn't know that you can't force the kids to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. That's against the law. Yeah, the court cases, you can't make them do it. You can stand up and urge them, but you don't send them to the principal. So I thought, geez. But as opposed to during the Vietnam era, the kids now are very quick to say, thank you for your service, right? They do. You let them know you were in the service, they say it. So I figured, I'm going to leverage that. So I remember the 8th grade class back at the middle school I was teaching. Thank you for your service, Colonel Sanders. I said, I really appreciate it. However, okay, if you really mean it, you'll say the pledge to that flag because that's why I served. And you know what? They got up. That's called shaping consensus. They looked around. Who's not going to do it? They all got up. I loved it. So that's the reason for that.
That's a good photo.
Yeah, I took it myself. Yeah, I got signed copies over here for. No, I just kidding. All right. Now, okay. This is just an example. Okay. Leadership tidbit number 8. It's easier to drop a bomb and kill 100,000 people than it is to shoot one person between the eyes. In other words, you know, so they weren't going to tell me or I'm right here, they're not going to like do this to me. They're going to say the pledge. Now, it's easier to just say I'm not doing the pledge because it doesn't have a person involved. Put my face on that flag, and now all of a sudden you have association. Okay, continuing. Elijah. This is the IGO school, okay? This is him yesterday at the IGO school. I think you guys know I have an affinity for Downs kids. And I've got a little pitch going here. I was at the school committee meeting last night, and we're doing a lot of good things for special needs in the district. We really are. But nationwide, we're hurting. And I'll tell you, I've subbed every job you can do in the school district, and they're the most difficult jobs because you're always on. And we need more. So if anybody's thinking about it, in your second career, maybe your fifth, I don't know. We always need people in special ed. Now, I told you I was Colonel Sanders. The kids get a kick out of that. I always say that up front. I'm retired Army Colonel Sanders. Ha, 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 ha. I said, I'm not kidding. All of a sudden, I've got their respect, okay? And believe me, I use that. You can tell they really respect, whoops, sorry, but they really respect me, right? But I didn't get to be a colonel, out of my diapers. There was a pathway. I'm going to quickly go through that. Okay, I was a leader in middle school. That's me, president of student council. Play football. There's so handsome dude. There's me. Oh, there's day one. Here I'm heading out to West Point, and that's it. Goodbye. That was the last you see of me. But I'm a leader there too. Here I'm taking the guys over to the tennis racket, place, and I knew my math. 2 + 2. This plebe year. Now this guy on the left in the green, you see him? His name's Guy Swan, retired 3-star general. He walked Betty Ford out of the chapel when Gerald Ford passed away. He was the commander of the military district of Washington at the time. A great leader. Matter of fact, there's another one not in this picture named Frank Helmet, another 3-star general that was also a roommate with me. I'll bet you I'm the only cadet ever that had 2 3-stars as roommates. So I call myself the general mentor. So the question is, Joe, why didn't you? No, I don't want to hear that. Okay. I already told you I got in trouble. They didn't. There's me in trouble. Walk in the area. At West Point, when you get in trouble, like me, I had a sip of alcohol, got caught. And this particular one, I had 66 hours of punishment tours. You can only do 5 in one weekend. So that's, 11 weeks. And while you're in that mode, you cannot leave your room when you're done. You go to eat, you can go to class, you can go to the chapel, the barber shop. I did that twice in one day. So bored, I had to get out of here. So I got 2 haircuts in one day. Luckily, they got a bunch of barbers. Nobody, they don't care. They know plebes have it rough. So that's the way that was. I did go to airborne school, and that's what that trophy is about. Now, I'm a lot about silver linings, okay? Now, this is one of the stories in my blog site. I'm a lot about silver linings. So there's a silver lining to how I actually got this trophy here. Because I couldn't leave my room at jump school, when you're at Fort Benning, they don't care if you're a cadet or not. You can go to the officers club. So all my classmates, all 518 other classmates, were able to go to the officers club after training every day. And they go get wasted. They come back at 2 in the morning, and 4 o'clock we're up running. Guess who's the only guy yelling cadences really loudly? Ish. So what they call the black caps, right? They love me because I'm this cadet, man. He's off. So that's how I won my trophy. It had nothing to do with how good I was. But you know what? That's my story. I'm sticking with it. There it is again. Okay. Then I finally get to graduate. That's me being commissioned the day before or the morning of graduation. There's the graduation ceremony, class of 76. There's my ring, and there we are throwing our caps. Now, there is a story about this, which we'll come back to in a little bit. There's always a very prominent speaker. Sometimes it's the president. And the common story is kind of a joke about West Point graduations is because, kind of the thought about West Pointers in the Army is, we all think we're, better than everybody else, right? That's kind of the shtick. So, but the joke is, they say that when the speaker is saying, looks around, he says, of all you people, 20 of you will be generals someday. And me and everybody else starts looking around. Who's the other 19 going to be? Right? So there's a story that will come in a little bit later. All right. One of the good things, silver lining wise, when I was sitting in my room my senior year, I got caught twice, plebe year and senior year. I couldn't do anything. My roommate was from Ohio, okay, which really sucked because I was from Michigan. But anyway, I started reading books that he had on his shelf because I had nothing. And so I read about Woody Hayes, the coach for Ohio State University. The Ohio State University. Are you starting to sense this "the" thing? Anyway, so I decided, and it says in these books, he loves the military and he returns every letter sent to him. Well, we'll test that out. I got all the time in the world. I'm going to write a letter to Woody Hayes. So I do. Wouldn't you know it? He responds. He invites me to Ohio State. I thought, wow, now that is cool. So this here, I have here, doesn't look good. I turned it around. It's a piece of crap. But anybody wants to see that picture, I got the real one right here with Woody's thing. Is Joe Sanders or Tula? How about that? Well, that was Ohio. You know, we turned them upside down all year. Anyway, it says here, to Lieutenant Joseph Sanders, I'm sure you'll serve your country in an outstanding manner. Your friend Woody Hayes, June 8, 1976. I haven't even been home yet. I graduated June 2nd. And so I went to Columbus for a wedding and then hung around to see Woody. But there's a reason I have this here. He's one of my tidbits. Again, the capital H. He told me this literally. And we didn't have cell phones then. Okay? We did not have cell phones. There was no technology. Very, very little. 1976. He said, Joe, you'll be going into an army that will be much more technical. Remember, you do not win with technology. You win by taking care of your people. Is this not the common theme we've been talking about? Okay? Is this not what leadership is? I'm not going to put a bunch of definitions up there like leadership is being able to send someone to hell and have them look forward to the trip. Sorry, Jerry. Okay. Anyway, I used that H word again. All right, well, let's talk about, now this is legit. What is it with the Hearn, the Igo, the Taylor, the Borough? What is it? I said, there's got to be somebody in our school department that's from Ohio State, because that's the Ohio State. If you don't know that, that's what they call themselves. And wouldn't you know, after a little snooping, that's the chair of the schools committee with an Ohio State phone. Now, I built up a relationship with this man because I met him a long time ago, so he let me take that picture last night. So it's a late addition. So I got permission for everything I do. Right? I'm old enough to drink. That's all you need to know. Whoop. So I have to show that after the Ohio one, just for fun. All right. This is repeating, okay? Now, after I get out of West Point and go to Oklahoma, now I'm headed for Europe. Yeah, single man, headed for Europe, Germany. I am excited. Yeah, come on, man, let's go. 3 years, there we go. And Sistine Chapel. Now, I didn't take these pictures. I'm just the dream, okay? And where I ended up? A pig farm in West Germany, because I was in what they call a special weapons unit. They didn't have them any close to any population. We didn't have any American Forces radio or television where I was. So I did that for 2 years. I learned a lot of German. Anybody here speak German? Ach du lieber, ja, das geht, ne? Anyway, I can do pretty well with German. That's not a story I'll tell here. Anyway, but after a couple years, you know, I was out in the middle of Oklahoma. West Point had no women at the time. I'm out in Germany. You know, nobody speaks English. You know, so I came home and got married. My bride, Maureen, this was up at West Point in 1979. And she lived fairly close to New York City. Okay, and she worked in the city. And that's where I brought her back. Whoop. We got back to Germany, had one more year. This is where we started. She wasn't happy. No, not at all. And she kept talking about this, right? And, but we did get the chance. She had gone to Spain for college for 1 year. So we did get the chance to take a space available flight to Madrid or Torrejon, whatever, and got to see her friends. I flew back to the States in March of 1980. We had beaten the Russians in hockey 2 weeks before. I didn't even know it happened. I didn't know we beat them in hockey. That's how much in the middle of nowhere I was. I couldn't wait to get home. Now, you've seen Three Dog Night, right? Well, I've never been to Spain, but I've been to that flyover state. That's where we were headed. Now, that's a little different than that. Okay, matter of fact, well, that's kind of like Oklahoma looks like. It's flat, right? That's where we were going in Oklahoma, where the Buffalo Range. So guess what? My relatively new military bride still wasn't that happy with being back in the States, okay? She always talked about this. I said, but honey, we only have a couple more years. No, I want to go back here. I said, but honey, we can buy a home in Oklahoma. I don't want to buy a home in no damn Okie place. So we don't. So she keeps talking about this. Are you getting the theme here? Guess where I'm going to try to head next? There's the road out of Oklahoma. She couldn't wait for that. She wants to go here. And where did I get? Well, I did get a couple good things. I did get a graduate degree in public administration. Nobody read that lately. Anyway, from Oklahoma. That's a joke. Okay. And my daughter was born, Jillian. Yeah, she was the tall blonde, or in the redhead in the other picture. So, and there's me with her in Oklahoma. I was a unit commander then. So we're out of here, and I get a job at Rutgers teaching ROTC. Great job.
The State University.
Yes, that's true. The State University of New Jersey. There's Jillian with our next child, Bryn, okay? And I was the faculty advisor to the Rutgers Queen's Guard Trick Drill Team, the best drill team in the world. The Marine Corps 8th and I Barracks team took our routine. That's what they use now. That was me in Scotland with them in the back right there, the big, the fat guy with glasses, 1985. They gave me a nice little plaque. Now, I was the recruiting officer for ROTC, so I had to go out and, kind of party with these kids. That's kind of the way I did it. Again, the same old theme here. So I got a case study. Now, this is serious. Greg Schiano, he's the current coach of Rutgers University football. Now, he was the coach back many years ago as well, all right? And this is why I respect certain people. I didn't know Greg until, until he came. I was already at Rutgers. And there was a game where Rutgers was playing Army, and one of the players on Rutgers, I can't remember, Eric LeGrand, tackled the Army player, and he basically broke his neck and was paralyzed from the waist down. Okay? So he went to the hospital, obviously, and of course, the coach would go see him. This is many years later after he was back, but you can see the love. Look at the guy. He's smiling, coach is with him. I mean, he was the mentor. Now, this is not why I'm telling you this. The same time that this happened, a friend of mine's son was in the same hospital with leukemia. He was a junior at Rutgers Cook College, and Coach Schiano made a point to go visit that kid who he didn't know anybody, and you got 60,000 people, he could have been there all day, but he went and visited, and eventually that young man passed away. And my buddy called me and said, Joe, would you call the coach? Just tell him my son passed. Tell him when the private viewing is, and if we'd love to see him. We don't expect him to. Well, Greg Schiano went, brought a gift, gave an inspiring talk about what an inspiring person that young man was. See, that's what I call a leader. All right, this will be quick. Oh, this isn't the one. Yeah. Yeah, so guess what? I resigned my commission because that's the truth. Do not get assigned to your in-laws if you want to spend 20 years on active duty. At least not in the middle, maybe at the end. But yeah, I did that, so I got out of the service in 1987. That's me, my last post there. And now this is the part. Okay, I'm going to make this a lot quicker because we're going too slow here. In our government, we have three branches, right? Balance of power, etc. But in the military, if you're a commanding officer, you actually have two of those three branches under you personally. You're the executive, and you're the judicial. So you set policy. You don't make the rules, because that's different. That's the Code of Military Justice. But you set policy, and you judge people, and you can bust them if you want. So it's really important that if you're a military officer, there can be no hints of impropriety in anything you do. Okay, because you could eventually, God forbid, be in a combat situation, have to make a decision to send someone to the front line, and if you haven't been a totally egalitarian officer that treats everybody the same, well, in Vietnam they call it fragging. Right. The officers got killed because their soldiers didn't trust them. All right, so bottom line, it's very important. Now, I said from backgammon out, I had a whole story, I'm not going to tell it about backgammon, but it fit well with the title. Backgammon to bumper stickers. Military officers, you will never see me with a political bumper sticker on my car. It's just the throwback to when I was in the service. You can't be undue influencing your soldiers, okay? They have a right to vote, and you can't make them feel like, oh, if they don't vote the way this, so you don't do it. I still don't do that today. Nobody knows my politics. They don't know it. I don't talk about it, and I won't. There we go, finally. Got that one already. What am I going backwards again? Yeah, sorry, folks. All right. 1987, my son was born. This is Ian Joseph Sanders, okay? Now, I didn't like the name Ian. I didn't like it because it had too many vowels in it. I said, no, not my son. You know, she goes, it means warrior. Oh, I looked it up. I said, okay. And you know what? It was a good name for him because he had 5 major surgeries in his first 2 years. Okay? He had ears that, you know, were blocked. We didn't know it. And we gave him hearing aids that just made it worse. So we had 2 surgeries. He had webbed fingers. And at 6 months old, he needed open heart surgery. He weighed 11 pounds at 6 months old. So, went to the hospital. I'm waiting. And the success rate wasn't that high for these kind of surgeries for young, 6-month-old. And I was there when there was another set of, parents there. And the doctor comes out, talks to them, and he gave them the bad news. Their kid didn't make it. He says, I'm going to work on Ian now. I said, oh, great. So he came out, though, flying colors. Great. So we're happy. All right, fast forward here. There he is. Look at that kid, man. Are you kidding me? You wonder why I smile all the time? Look at him. Oh, look. There he is again. Okay, we've already done this. Now, I mean, who'd want to look like that? So that's why you liked Army. That's the Navy. Anyway. All right. September 1987, a new program, Life Goes On. Corky, right? Christopher Burke. Downs kid, about 18 years old, red hair like my son. This was the program that we watched, and we had hope, right, because of that program. I got to meet Christopher Burke a month after the show went on. They had a fundraiser up in northern Jersey. I went to that and met him there. It was so cool. Fast forward, the happiest day of my life, December 16th, 1989. All my kids are healthy. Ian's gotten through surgery a couple years ago. Okay, I didn't show you. We had another daughter, Kelly. So we had the 4 kids. And we all went out and got a Christmas tree, set it up, put the lights on, and life was good. It was actually really good. There we are. That's my daughter's tree this year, but what the hell, I think. Anyway, but we just felt at peace, okay? And so that was December 16th. It was cold out that day, so my son caught a cold, and so did my wife. So my son had to go to the hospital on the 23rd of December, right before Christmas, and we said, we are not opening any presents until he comes home. And we all agreed, And then my wife went in on the 26th, and they were both in the hospital over the New Year. They both had pneumonia, and it was a little tough for Ian to fight it off because, with Downs, his immune system was not very good. And Maureen actually came home on the 3rd. By the way, it's the same day of the week as we're in right now. This year and that year are the same day of the week. Yeah, 1/7 chance of that happening. Anyway, so in other words, 34 years ago, the 10th was a Wednesday too. So they're in the hospital. Maureen comes back home on the 3rd. On the 5th, the Friday, I went to the hospital to see my son. They had told us he's coming home soon, and I went and put him to bed. He went to sleep, peaceful, looked great, and I said, all I could think of was, we're going to open our presents this weekend. This is going to be great. And so I had a paper route because I did a lot of extra jobs to make ends meet. And next day I'm delivering the papers. I come home, and my father-in-law is at the door. I said, what's this about? And I opened the door, and I guess he'd had some time to think. He said, got some bad news, son. Ian passed away. Well, I can tell you, I was stunned. I was shocked. I was mad. And I was cursing at God. But my father-in-law, he'd had probably an hour to digest all this, and he's a tough man. That's why he's one of my heroes. And leadership tip number 12. Son, if God had wanted to take you instead of Ian, he would have done it. As long as you were alive, you have a mission on this earth. And you know what? That made an impact on me that day and forever after. Fast forward. Well, not fast forward. 44 years ago today, Wednesday, January 10th, 1990, was the saddest day of my life. That was the day we were taking down the tree. And everybody had been to the funeral. They were gone home. And I heard this song by the Moody Blues called I Know You're Out There Somewhere. And I just started crying. I mean, I could not get over it. I just started bawling. And I was mad at God again, and I started cursing him out again. And I said, well, I don't understand. 25 days ago was the happiest day of my life, and now you got the saddest day of my life. And I'll tell you, that hit me. It was an aha moment for me. Because I thought, wait a minute. 3 years ago, I'm praying for my son to come back, or to be without Down syndrome. And now I'm saying, give him back with it, God. And I thought to myself, I guess my father-in-law was right. I'm still here. My son's gone. You got a mission. So I kind of put my mind to it that from that day on, I don't care how old I get, I'm going to keep doing what it takes to serve people. Fast forward, 2018, in Philadelphia area. I'm driving for a lift. I'm driving around, and somebody gets in the back of the car, and he looked familiar. I couldn't place him. I said, Christopher? Yep. Christopher Burke. He had whiter hair then. He's in the back of the seat with his mom, and we had about a half hour till I dropped them off where they lived, and they were at a kind of a facility, you know, for older people. And I got out of the car with them, and we had a good group hug. We had a good cry, and I know that my son had something to do with that day. I know he was looking down at us, and he was smiling. I know that, and something else I know. The next year in Philadelphia, every time I'd get the opportunity to drive over to where Christopher and his mom lived, I would. But I had my own code. I said, I'm going to get there, and if a ride request comes up, you're going to take it, because there'll be more time. Happened 3 times. Every time I got in the parking lot, all of a sudden the request would come in. So I would go pick up my passengers and drive them. I never got to see Christopher again. Okay, it just didn't happen. I moved to Maryland. And then last summer, I moved up here to Foxborough. And I have to believe that my son, the Warrior, had something to do with bringing me to Foxborough, where we're the Warriors. I have to believe it. Number 76, I can't remember the kid's name, but he plays. I had to go stand by him because that's my class year. That's this year. That was at the game over in Mansfield. So, Army-Navy this year, I had a lot of friends come over, and I took them around uptown. And they said to me, it's a wonderful life.
Yeah.
You know, right? And I feel like George Bailey, I'll tell you that. So, you might think we're done. We're not. This is really important. The day before Army-Navy, I got an invite because I used to work for the admissions office at West Point. So I'm on their mailing list. So I got an invitation to go to a luncheon that was paid for by Mr. Belichick and Mr. Kraft. And it was Medal of Honor winners on a panel. And they were asking them tough leadership questions. So I want to share that with you a little bit. Just first of all, show you kind of who was there. That was some pregame stuff there. There's the Medal of Honor if you've never seen one before. And their mission, by the way, of the Education Center from the Medal of Honor, Leadership and Education Center, is everyone in their life is faced with a leadership moment. We want to prepare our citizens to meet that moment. I kind of like that. I'm not going to go into these things. We're going to keep going. Here's a picture of everybody there. I have their names up there. It's kind of not a good picture, but I'll show you another one. 4 Medal of Honor winners are in that picture. You can see Bill Belichick in the middle. This lady, Courtney Koob, I don't know if it's Koob or Kubi, I think it's Koob. She was the moderator of the session, and she was very good. She happens to be a Michigan grad. Anyway,
No wonder she was good.
You'll see why I think good. And here, just so happens that there were 4 people in the panel, but these 2 were the Medal of Honor winners, and that was Tom Kelly on the left and Ryan Pitts. There's Thomas Kelly, Medal of Honor, U.S. Navy, and there's Ryan Pitts, Army, Medal of Honor, getting his presentation by President Obama. You know me, I'm not a shy guy, so. Oh, we're not yet. Okay, General Richardson was also on the panel. He's not a Medal of Honor winner, but a 3-star general in the Army today. And Rear Admiral Thomas Lynch, who was a former superintendent of the U.S. Naval Academy, I had the chance to get a photo op with Sergeant Pitts. And look at this guy, you know, he's just smiling, you know. Life's good, you know. I mean, I'm not going to read his citation. We won't get through that. There's me when I found out she was a Michigan girl. I made sure I got a picture with her. Anyway, Sergeant Pitts, they ask him, what's the most important thing about being a good leader? This is a Medal of Honor winner talking. Seek to understand. Okay, that means ask questions. Find out what people are thinking. Find out how people want to be treated and treat them that way. Platinum rule. General Richardson, choose the harder right as opposed to the easier wrong. Comes from the cadet prayer. He said it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Admiral Lynch always talked about leaders putting themselves last. Okay, very last. Not second to last, last. And here's one you probably won't expect. Captain Kelly. He was a high-ranking naval officer. I'm just going to read this to you. You talk about courage. He said, Medal of Honor recipient, retired Navy captain, recalled an ethical decision he faced with a sailor who was gay and how he knew he made the right decision. I knew he was gay, but most of his shipmates did not, said Kelly. Under the rules of the time, it was my responsibility to notify the authorities about the issue so that the Navy could get rid of him. I made a conscious decision not to do it. And then later it said, and I know I'd made the right decision. Now, he bucked the rules, but his heart told him to do something different. This pretty much ends up the part that's not about Foxborough. Those of you that read my posts on Facebook, you may remember about 4 or 5 days ago, I said, I'm 99% there. I'm going to go out and watch Michigan. My pitch is done. I said, so I'm just going to go out and enjoy the game Monday night. I don't know what happened, but something was gnawing at me. And I said, I'm not done yet. We got the biggest thing coming up right here in Foxborough this week. I said, how can I not say something? If I purport myself to be a leader, how can I not have the guts to come up here and try to lead the new town that I love? Lead to people to take good actions. So I learned that the moment you want to slow down is the moment you accelerate. So I said, damn it, I'm not done yet. I got to go back and spend another 20 hours prepping this thing to make it what it should be so I don't feel bad about leaving anything on the field. We're going to talk about this. Awfully quiet. Okay, good. And this is me. This is my hometown, okay? I'm just like everybody else. I own it just like everybody else. And I already told you about this. I'm one of these guys. I would die for anybody in this room or in this town. That's what I did. My government paid for me to go to school, and that's what they did, and that's what I will always do. I will always put others first. There's the 12th man again. I'm not going to reread the poem because you've heard it. But in there it talks about maybe they're wiser than us because they come from a loving background. They care, okay? They're not always mad. Or somewhere in here it says they don't do the things we do, okay? So I want to give some credit, okay? This is the screening committee for the township. All right, I posted this in Facebook already. This is all the people that worked on the screening. Okay, they had some resumes to go through, and I'm sure they spent a lot of time. I wasn't privy to it because I applied for the job. Okay, and they deserve our thanks because they didn't get paid for that, and so they did their job. They did their job. They turned over a list of names to the select board, okay, and that's what they were supposed to do. And I feel bad they made me feel, bottom line is they did their job. And we should be thanking them for doing their job. Here we go, get ready. I learned that you have to push away the demands of people's expectations by believing in your own instincts, and that's what got me to stand up here tonight. I can't give you a recipe for success, but I can give you a recipe for failure. Try to please everybody. Doesn't work. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena. That was Theodore Roosevelt. My point here is we set up our town, our form of government. We have a select board. They are the decision makers, okay? They chose to have a committee screen resumes. They didn't have to do that, but it's probably not a bad idea. That's common. I've been in hundreds of these types of things before, both as a candidate but more often as a person screening for this. I went to legally defensible hiring training in New Jersey when I worked at Rutgers. I was way up the food chain there, and they wanted me to not get in trouble. That's the whole order. Well, anyway. Well, okay, let's keep going. All right, you can't shake hands with a clenched fist. Okay, true? I'm going back to that poem here about looking for the best in everybody. Here comes the thing. I believe in this very strongly. The three types of people, I've already talked about it before. And my goal is for everybody in Foxborough not be in that third category. Do not be the one that waits around and says, what happened? So I've got a prescription for everybody. I'm going to pass these out at the very end. Leadership tidbit number 1. Foxborough citizens who make things happen will do the following. Attend or watch each interview. Google and search LinkedIn for each applicant. Email each select board member with your opinion before this Sunday with your thoughts on the candidates. They're going to love that, but you know what? That's the job. Tonight at 6:30 is the first one. Now tomorrow night, one of us is, the 5 o'clock one is not there. The 6 o'clock and 7 are on. So we have 3 interviews going to take place in the next 25 hours. Okay? Here are the email addresses for every selectman. I've got them on the back of my Believe card for you, along with the dates of the interviews. They're all going to be at Town Hall starting in about an hour and a half after I get a different beverage. Now, leadership tidbit number 1, Foxborough citizens who do nothing and then wonder what happened will not attend each interview, will not Google or search LinkedIn for each applicant, will not email each select board member, and will whine on Foxborough Discussion and Uptown Happenings Facebook pages about how the SB members don't care about Foxborough. I wish this part weren't televised, but talk about that again. Try to please everybody. You can't do it. So that's why I'm up here. I know people probably won't like me for this, but I don't care. I talked about this before. One of the, 20 that was going to make general. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This is kind of funny now, but I knew I was a shoo-in for at least the final round. Right? Guy's confident. I'm going to be general. So and then they had, the screening committee had, chose people to interview back on the 11th of December. I didn't get a call. I said, oh, at least I'm in the top 2 now. It's going to be Paige and me. I figure she's in. She's acting, and I know I'm good. So I said, they're looking at the 3rd and 4th candidates. That's what I'm thinking. That's why this thing makes sense, because I didn't make it anywhere close to general. Anyway, so y'all heard that book, right? Seen it? There's another one here called Good to Great. I'm going to talk a little bit, not very much. It's time to call this thing. Oh, there's a story. I'm going to say, Paige, you didn't ask for this. You didn't know what was happening. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to show you something first. I got this email. Now, I don't know if Paige knew I was applying for the job. I don't think it would have mattered. She sends me this email saying, Joe, did you get one of these medallions? If not, I have one for you. That's this one right here. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'll pass it around. But it's the Army-Navy medallion, okay? And she says, I got one for you. I said, well, thank you. So I go over there to Town Hall to get I was very thankful. And I said, oh, I think I see your car. Right? We know better. So I'm trying to score points with this lady, Anyway, I said, hey, I think I saw your car. She goes, no, that's not. That's Paige Eppolitos, who's also here. The 2 pages, they walk around together, front and back page. Anyway. I made that up. It was not planned. Anyway, so I go in there. She gives it to me. And so the next day, I sub. I take it to the class. And I said, does anybody know what this is? And I hand it out in the class, let the kids touch it and look at it. I'm watching it the whole time. And I get this response back that night. Hello, Mr. Sanders. I just wanted to say, as I enjoy reading your posts about the enjoyment you have with the involvement of the Army, Navy, etc., being involved with the kids, my daughter came home today telling me that she enjoyed having you as her substitute teacher. She was thrilled about your coin and the love you have for the military. Thank you for making an impact on her day. She usually says she did nothing much at school. Now, I didn't put the name up here, obviously. Okay? But the point is this. Actually, the point is this. There's no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Okay? And And you know, I'm not pushing for Paige. I'm going to tell you what you should be doing next. I'm just saying this happened. I was a witness, and I'm just sharing it. And I shared it back with Paige because I think good leaders, you know, a lot of times you're unappreciated. So leaders need to hear good things too. By the way, I sent an email to every selectman this afternoon, telling, because I knew I was talking here, and I sensed there might be some uneasiness when I posted this morning. So I sent them an email sharing with them things that I won't share with you because I respect they're the decision makers. And I gave them my candid feedback on some things which I won't share with you. But I respect their position. This is next, folks. Beer may not solve all your problems, but neither will water or milk. So it's almost that time, all right? Now, I am going to say this. I did tell each of the selectmen in the email today, and I'm going to announce this here for the first time. Just yesterday, you know, you guys know, serendipity is a big thing for me. I mean, everything I've done here has been serendipitous, from Gene to everything, okay? And yesterday I was coming out of the Y. I swim there. I'm not a swimmer, but I swim there. And matter of fact, can I just hand these and pass them out that way? And then while I'm finished. Yeah, I got another stack. You know, I was getting ready for Gillette, but anyway. So I decided to cut it in 1/1000th. If you could just grab one and pass them around. Anyway, yesterday I was at the YMCA. And now, is the lady here from the Y? I wouldn't know. God bless you. What's your name? Kelly. Kelly. My daughter. Yeah. So I don't know how it happened, but I talking to Kelly, and how did it happen? Anyway. Man, I'm losing it. But anyway, bottom line is this. So Kelly talked to me about an opportunity at the Y. Volunteer. But they have, what's the name of the choir?
It's our Glee Club,
Inclusion Glee Club. When I sang that picture up there when we were, the Inclusion Glee Club sang at the I was going to say the Orpheum, okay? And they were there, and they're special needs adults, and they were singing. And they need help. So I didn't tell the selectmen this, but I did tell them that I was going to talk about what I thought people should do. Okay, and on the cards you're getting, by the way, right now, on the back, like I said, it has the schedule of interviews, also has the email of everyone, and has my blog site where you can look up those little stories. Okay, so anyway, so I've decided, and I told the selectmen this, that I'm pulling my name out because they have the authority. They can start all over if they want. And I'll be damned if I want to make it look like it's about me, because it's not about me. So I told them I'm no longer a candidate for this position, that I'm going to go a different direction, and I'm telling everybody here that what I've decided to do, because this is the anniversary of the worst day of my life, I've decided to commit my life to helping those in need. And it's going to be with the choir over at the Glee Club. I'm going to be talking with Mike Stanton in a couple days. They have some needs at the school. I might work out something with him where I'm there every day to deal with special education. Not sure yet. This is no surprise to him. But I've just decided that that's going to be my calling going forward. And not that I didn't think I could do a great job. I know I could. I even told them that. I told them all the mistakes they made, but no, I didn't. So, but seriously, I've just been led and called my whole life. And this journey here has been wonderful. And I plan on it staying wonderful. I'm involved with the Veterans Committee now. There we go. I'm going to probably apply to be on the Cultural Committee. I really enjoyed being with them a couple times. And then I'm going to lay back a little bit and just enjoy life and pursue someone other than my granddaughter. Anyway, that is actually it, folks. Thank you very much.